Yeah, actually, this is one of those bills that is not designed to solve a problem. It is designed to advance an ideology. And in terms of what this bill does, is it removes the affirmative defense of an individual who would use a firearm for personal protection within certain territorial boundaries. For example, it allows the county council or commissioner's office or any other facility to outlaw or make a gun-free zone. And if someone who walks into the gun-free zone has a firearm, then this bill allows them to be punished $125,000 fine with potential many years in jail. I can't remember how many years in jail. I could look that up if you wanted to know, but it's substantial. And per your first question, what is this bill trying to solve? It's interesting that there are no relevant cases where a concealed firearm licenser has committed these sort of crimes. And since this bill is only designed to enhance the what will we call it, the sanctions or punishment of concealed carry handgun license holders, CHL license holders, this bill is targeting a specific segment of the population, those people who are certainly the most qualified individuals on the planet. In fact, CHL holders have better criminal activity records than most police officers. Actually, from a statistical perspective, they have 0.6% chance of being engaging in criminal activity, and licensed, certified department, DPSST, that's the Department of Sheriffs and Service Training for Fire. The DTSSP individuals commit crimes nearly twice as often, from 0.6 to 1.0, almost twice. So it's really an interesting problem, and there's no need for this piece of legislation. Well, this bill is a direct attack against, firearm ownership. Most permit holders, they cannot. Actually, there's an extensive list of what a CHL holder actually must go through. First of all, they get interviewed, they get fingerprinted, they have extensive background checks. They cannot have been convicted of any felony, violent or non-violent crime. And all of those individuals who are, like I said, less likely to engage in criminal activity than certified police officers or sheriff officers, all of a sudden, these are the individuals we're going to try and corral. And I think this is just a first step. This is a gun rights issue. It's a Second Amendment issue. Your question is, what do we have to lose? To have the entire freedom of religious liberty, freedom of speech, and constitutionally protected freedoms against these are all on the line. As soon as you start chipping away at one of these Bill of Rights, then all the others are quickly, will quickly be assaulted by the left. And so what we hear in testimony, what do the Democrats have to gain? What they have to gain is control over the legislative process. They're about, if they score an issue, they'll score victories on other issues. They'll keep marching. They've been in the executive office. They got for 24, 30 years. They've got super majorities in both the House chamber and they've got the Secretary of State's office. They've been packing the judiciary with left-leaning judicial appointments for the past 30 years. And so we are in a place where, just like at the federal level, all of these issues about our constitutional rights, our right to liberty, our right to life, liberty, and our own pursuits, our ability to defend our lives, is certainly one of the most important issues coming before this body. Additionally, you will note that this legislature has been trying to implement this kind of bill for the past decade. And they keep floating this idea like this is a problem that needs to get solved. But concealed carry handgun license holders are not the problem. In the testimony, we kept hearing that, say, removing guns will, quote, save lives. But this is entirely disconnected from any evidentiary details or statistical references. There are no statistical references. There are no evidence, that would be acceptable to a court of law, and yet lawmakers are beginning to push this notion that that's irrelevant. What matters is our opinions about whether somebody should be able to shoot the coyote that is pursuing the calves that just got born in their pasture. And so it's an interesting dilemma that we face. What it looks like in the short term, they're going to bring it to the Senate floor on Wednesday and that will mean it will go to the Senate floor on Thursday for the third reading. If it passes out of the Senate floor, it will go to the House. So right now, anybody who cares about personal protection, the Second Amendment, the religious liberty, they ought to be writing letters to the Democrats on the House side and expressing their view that this is a very targeted legislation. It's not dealing with any real problems. Allowing citizens to carry concealed weapons is one of those selective gun control issues. They're making the claim that people who carry weapons are criminals, and the truth is people who carry firearms are licensed, fingerprinted, the most checked individuals in our society. You cannot buy a firearm without going through background registration. And so these people, for the left, for the Democrat majority, to target these individuals above and before targeting the individuals who are rampaging, looting, and rioting in Portland, it just shows how warped the worldview of these people actually is, and how important it is for gun owners to let their legislative body know that they recognize it's wrong and that they stop pursuing these ghosts.
In my opinion, I think that this bill is a step too far by the Democratic Party and cannot be remedied to benefit both sides. It is clear that the Democrats do not want to allow individuals the opportunity at the constitutional right of self-defense. I believe that if the Democrats really wanted to protect others, They would advocate for more training and throw more money at educating people on gun safety so that individuals could choose to conceal carry more safely, and this wouldn't impede on anyone's constitutional rights. I don't believe this bill is fair or equitable for anyone. Thank you for listening to my interview with Senator Dennis Linthicum.